Draven's Tutorials by Draven Design Co. So on my last video, I was showing you all the process of prepping glitter pens. So today in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I design a sports themed pen. So the theme or the sports team that I'm going to be doing here is the New York Knicks, which have been all over the news. I have someone that's pretty close to me, another phenomenal, multifaceted artist who requested that I make this. So I'm just gonna show you the process. All right, I just rinsed my pen off here and wiped it with a paper towel. I'm gonna put it on my dowel. This video is going to be shot over the course of several days because there's drying phases that my pens have to go through. But let's go ahead and get started. Here I have my gloves, which I use to spray paint. I always protect my hands. Trust me, you don't want to go through the process of trying to get spray paint off your fingernails, especially if you get your nails done. I'm going to be using a flat white primer here. I don't have any recommendations about what specific brand to use. All I know is I use whatever they have in Walmart. This is the brand I typically get. I'm the type of person, when something works, I stick to it, I don't deviate. One highlight here is I make sure it says flat white primer, not glossy, not matte. I've used gloss in the past and it was a mess, but this is specifically meant to be the base coat. So I'm gonna go outside and get my cameraman and I'm gonna show you how I paint this down. And spray paint, as you see here, I have my pen on my dowel and I have my spray paint of choice. What you wanna make sure you do is you go ahead and shake it up and follow the directions, normally 1 to 2 minutes. So as you can see here, I've just gone ahead and applied my base coat. It was a little windy. So yeah, that's why the spray paint looks like that. All done here. And I'm just going to put it in my paintbrush holder and let it dry outside. Next, all I'm doing is putting my paints that I'm going to use into my paint palettes. I don't show the whole process here, but I've applied several layers of the orange and blue paint. That way it's opaque and not translucent, because acrylic paint, it tends to be translucent, meaning you can see through it. So I often end up having to apply a few coats to get it nice and solid. And the benefit of this is it helps that glitter show a lot more better. You can see here I'm applying my CrystaLac glitter glue. If you've been watching my videos, you know CrystaLac is the only glitter glue that I use. Shout out, give me a sponsorship. No, but seriously, I go ahead and I apply this nice and even in thin layers. Once I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and apply my glitter, and typically I apply 2 coats of glitter, which means I apply 3 coats of glitter glue. The first coat to add the glitter, another to seal the first coat and add the second coat of glitter, and the third to seal all the glitter together. This is my process. Some people only use resin. I find that this works best for me. I'm very meticulous when it comes to doing my craft. And once again, you have to do what works best for you. So let's keep going. Now we're getting down to business. I'm applying my orange and my blue glitter. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful shine. I make sure I put the excess back in the bottle. I keep going around several times. Look how good that looks. I'm going to do the same thing with the blue coat and continue from here. So I'm adding my final coat of glitter glue to seal everything in. I want to mention here, when I do my final coat, I always add a little bit of water. There's more than one way to do this. What I do, I take my paintbrush, I dip it into my water cup, I let a little drip get mixed in with the glitter glue, or I'll just use a wet paintbrush and go from there. You don't have to do this. The reason I do this is because A, it helps that glitter glue stretch further. You use less product. Not only that, I find it is a lot easier to apply diluted glue to a layer of glitter, because sometimes when you paint over it, some of that glitter is gonna lift, and I try to prevent that. That's why I like to add water, but you do what works best for you and experiment. I'm sorry, I lied. That wasn't my final coat of glitter glue. So I did that, and I'm adding the final coat of glitter, but what I said still applies. I'm adding glue on top of glitter, so I want to dilute it. Now I'm adding the final layer of glitter. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to repeat the process that you just saw. I'm either going to wet that paintbrush, or I'm going to dip that paintbrush into my water cup and let a drizzle fall into that glitter glue. Mix it together so it's diluted and it's easier to spread over top of that glitter. I jumped a whole lot of days here. Everything was dry. I added the resin. This is me adding decals. At first, I just used a simple Knicks look-alike font, but I didn't quite like how it turned out. I mean, it's cute and all, but I ended up changing my mind. It happens.
A few moments later.
I apologize. I didn't record this whole process because it was very impromptu and I was busy. Pretty much, I layered everything. So in Cricut Design Space, I used the exact same font that you saw that said Knicks. The only thing I did different was I went to edit and I added an offset to it, right? And then I clicked on the offset and added another offset. And then in Design Space, you change the colors. That way you print out 3 layers. And I just basically layered the orange on top of the blue on top of the white. And that's how I got the final product.